he received another call. A voice said,
"They know you're back, and they've made the first move."
The William family attended a major public event, believing they still understood the world. By the end of the night, they realized they never understood James at all.
It began normally.
Luke was dressed to impress. Tyler was loud. Lady Ross was proud. Sile was tense. James arrived quietly, as always. A chairman greeted James first. An executive stepped aside for him. A respected elder smiled, like he had been waiting for James's return. One by one, important people acknowledged him. Not casually, not politely, carefully. Suddenly, the William family were no longer standing above James. They were standing beside a man other powerful people were afraid to offend.
Tyler could barely breathe.
Luke's face hardened. Lady Ross, for the first time in years, had nothing to say. And Sile simply watched the room finally do what she should have done long ago. See him.
An honor to finally meet you, sir.
James did not embarrass them.
He did something worse. He remained calm. Because when a person does not need revenge to prove power, everyone can feel how real that power is. At the end of the event, James was invited to the main stage, and the host announced, "Please welcome the man behind tonight's biggest acquisition, James Douglas."
The moment James stepped back into the light,
the danger began. For years, obscurity had protected him. Now that the world knew the Douglas heir had returned, enemies who once stayed quiet began to move. A business attack, a threat, a warning wrapped in elegance.
then it became personal.
Someone close to the William family was targeted, not because the enemy cared about them, but because they knew hurting the weak points around James was the fastest way to test him. For the first time, James had to make a choice: protect the people who once humiliated him, or walk away and let them face the storm they helped create.
Sile did not need to beg.
James had already decided, because whatever pain he carried, he would never become small enough to punish innocence for the sins of pride.
He moved fast.
Men were deployed, cars were sent, plans were changed. And suddenly, the same family who once laughed when James begged for help were now surviving because James gave it.
Who exactly have we been living with?
The fall did not happen in one moment. It happened in layers. Tyler was exposed first. His arrogance led him into a trap he could not escape. Luke's polished image began to crack when people realized his status came from noise, not substance. Mr. William, who had hidden behind silence for years, was forced to admit that cowardice is also a choice.
And Lady Ross,
the woman who had spent years reducing James to nothing, finally stood face to face with the truth. The same man she mocked, the same man she shamed at her table, the same man she treated like trash, was now the reason her family still had any dignity left. For once, she had no insult ready, no sarcasm, no performance, no shield, only shame.
James did not yell.
He did not insult her back. He simply looked at them and said,
"You did not fail because you couldn't see my wealth.
He paused.
You failed because you saw a human being with no visible power and decided he deserved no respect."
That was the moment the house truly broke. Not because James became rich, but because everyone finally understood how poor they had been inside. Then James received one final message. "The council is ready. Your seat has been prepared." James Douglas had spent years surviving in silence. Now, he no longer needed to survive. He needed to lead. The family who mocked him could never return to the old version of him, because that version no longer belonged to them. James stepped into the world he was born for. Boardrooms, power circles, legacy halls. Decisions that shaped lives beyond one house, one marriage, or one family name. But even now, James did not become loud. True power had already taught him something pride never could. The strongest man in the room is not always the one speaking. Sometimes it is the one who endured humiliation without losing his mind, and rose without losing his soul. Siles stood beside him, no longer blind, no longer passive, but fully aware of the cost of the man she almost lost. Behind them, the William family remained changed forever. Because once you discover that the man you mocked was born to rule, you can never laugh the same way again. And just when James seemed ready to claim peace, the doors opened. A new threat had arrived. Bigger than the Williams, older than his pain, closer to the throne than anyone expected. James lifted his eyes. This time he did not hide. He was never born to beg. He was born to rule.